Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, I have explained regarding default parameter and few important points regarding default parameter. And I have written a Python program to illustrate use of default parameter by considering a user-defined function to calculate simple interest. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video link with your friends and family members, gain the knowledge and rule the world. Happy learning. Default parameter. Python allows assigning a default value to the parameter. A default value is a value that is pre-decided and assigned to the parameter when the function call does not have its corresponding argument. That means if an argument has been not passed, in that case the argument value for which it has been not passed, for that particular it will be assigning an pre-decided value, and that pre-decided value is called as an default parameter, which is assigned to the parameter. Few important points to remember in case of a default parameter are: a function argument can be an expression such as division within a bracket num plus 5 comma deno plus 5. So num in the sense numerator and deno in the sense denominator. That means you can write an expression at the time of calling a function. So in this particular case, the argument is evaluated before calling the function so that a valid value can be assigned to the parameter. For example, if num value is 2 and deno value is 3. In this case, num plus 5, that means 2 plus 5, it will be 7. Deno plus 5, so we have considered deno as 3. So 3 plus 5, it will be 8. So here it will be at the time of calling a function, it will be calling a function division by passing a value as 7 comma 8. Since we have considered num value as 2 and deno value as 3, so 2 plus 5 will be 7 and 3 plus 5 will be 8. So therefore it will be passing 7 and 8 as an argument before calling the function division. The parameter should be in the same order as that of the argument. The default parameters must be the trailing parameters in the function header. That means if any parameter is having a default value, then all other parameters to its right must also have a default values. If any parameter is having a default value, then all the parameters to its right must also have a default value. That means the trailing parameters can have a default values. You cannot give in middle. For example, if 3 parameters are there, then for second parameter you cannot a default value without having a default value for the third, right? So if you give a default value for an third one, then it is okay without giving the values for the first and second. But if you give the default value for the second without giving for a third, then it will be a wrong. If you give a default value for the first one without giving the default value for the second and the third parameter, then it will be an error. So for that purpose, the default parameters must be the trailing parameters in the function header. That means what? If any parameter is having a default value, then all the parameters to its right must have the default values. First I will open the Python interpreter. As you know the procedure, you need to click on start and you need to click on Python. In this one, IDE Python 3.12, that is 0.264-bit. So this is an interpreter. To create a new file, the shortcut key is Ctrl N. So this is the new file where we will be writing a program. So in this one I will write the program name as a comment. So comment, as you know, it starts with hash. Then after that we'll write the program name, Python program to illustrate the default parameter. Python program to illustrate the default parameter. So I'll write another one comment where I will write what actually the user defined function I will be writing, for which purpose, right? So I will be writing an user defined function to calculate the simple interest. User defined function to calculate the simple interest. I have pressed the enter key twice. So whatever the first two lines I have written, those are the comments which will be ignored by the Python interpreter at the time of an execution. Now I will write the definition of an user defined function, def space function name as simple interest, close the bracket, open the bracket, p comma t comma r is equal to 10, close the bracket. You can observe the last parameter I have considered as a default parameter, colon, press enter. Now the definition of that particular function. So I'll write si equal to the formula p into t into r, close the bracket, divided by 100. Then I'll print the result, print, open the bracket within a double quotes, simple interest equal to double quotes close comma si, close the bracket, press enter. Now you are inside the user defined function itself. Press the backspace, you are outside the user defined function. Just again press enter twice to just have the white spacing to be increased. That means for making the program to be an attractive, right? For that purpose I have just pressed the enter twice. Attractive in the sense, here there should be a difference between the calling function and the call the function. To show the difference between the called function and the calling function, I have just pressed the enter key twice. Okay, so here I will calling the function by writing simple interest, simple interest, open the bracket. I will pass the arguments values, for example 3000 comma 5, right, comma 20, close the bracket. So this is what I am calling a simple interest program by passing 3 arguments. So before that we can write a statement as like this, print, open the bracket within a double quotes, calling the function, by passing 3 arguments, double quotes close, bracket close. So then afterwards what? Simple interest within a bracket 3000 comma 5 comma 20. Then once again I will write print, open the bracket within a double quotes, calling the function by passing 2 arguments. Okay, double quotes close, bracket close, press enter. Now write simple interest, open the bracket 3000 comma 5, close the bracket. That means I am not passing the value of r. So I'll save this particular program, Control S, the program name as, I I'll write as DEF ARG. That means just default argument. Press enter. The program is saved. Now to run the program, as you know, the procedure is press F5 is the function key. So you can see the result. Calling the function by passing 3 arguments, simple interest is equal to 3000, and calling the function by passing 2 arguments, simple interest is equal to 1500. So how you have got this particular output? So I'll explain you. First, it will display this statement, calling the function by passing 3 arguments. That means this one. Then afterwards, that's the first line, calling the function by passing 3 arguments. Then after that, simple interest within a bracket 3000, 5, 20. That means what? Now it is going to call this function. So here 3000, that means p value is 3000, 5, that means t value is 5, and r value is 20. That means r value is equal to 10. That is here not considered as 10, here it is considered as 20. That means the default parameter value is not taken, it is taking the argument value. This argument value is 20. So it means r value will be 20. So then SI equal to P into T into R divided by 100. So this will be calculated, that is 3000 into 5 into 20 divided by 100. So that value will be equal to 3000. So therefore, next it will be executing this statement, print within a double quotes have written simple interest equal to SI. Therefore it displays simple interest equal to 3000 because the SI which has been calculated here, right? Then have written this one, print calling the function by passing 2 arguments. So here this particular output you are going to get. Then I have written simple interest 3000, 5. So here p value will be 3000 and t value will be 5, whereas r value I have not passed. In that case what happens, it will be taking the default parameter. What is the default parameter? R equal to 100. So therefore r is equal to 10. Okay, not 100, r is equal to 10. So now p value will be 3000, t value will be 5, and r value will be 10. Then it calculates SI equal to P into T into R divided by 100. So this value will be equal to 1500. So the next, print simple interest equal to SI. That means it will display simple interest equal to 1500. So here you can observe, when I have passed 3 parameters, it is not considered this default value. But when I have passed only 2 parameters, it is considering the default value of R. Right. Even without giving just a default value for 1 parameter, you can also give for 2 parameters also. That means what? Here for t also you can give the value. For example, we can write t equal to 5. Right. Then here we can do the modification by adding another 2 lines by writing here, print calling the function by passing 1 argument. Okay, and here I will just pass 3000 as the value. Okay, so now I'll save the program, control yes, it will be saved with respect to the same file. Then I'll press F5 to check the output. So it is displaying the first 4 lines as I explained previously, it is the same, right? Whereas there is what for the first listening 3005, 5, 20. That means p value is 3000, t value is 5, r value is 10. Then when we call this one, so here p value is 3000, t value is 5 and r value is 10. Whereas here the r value is 20 and t value is 5. Whereas in this one we have passed only one argument 3000. That means p value is 3000. Whereas t and r value, it is going to consider the default values. What are those default values? T equal to 5 and r equal to 10. For that purpose we have got this particular output. And I have told that whenever you are using a default parameter, that is a default parameter, then the trailing arguments, that is a trailing parameters, should be default. Suppose if you won't write r equal to 10, if you write in this way and you save the program and if you run, then you are going to get an error, because you cannot give a default value to non-trailing parameters, right? So parameter without a default values, parameter with a default, parameter without a default follows parameter with a default. That means what? Here you are given t equal to 5, that is a default value, whereas for r you are not given a default value. As I told, the default value for which parameter you give, after that whatever the parameters are there, all those parameters which is on the right side should be given a default value. Since we are not given a default value for r, it is showing as an error. I hope you have understood this particular program. That is a program to illustrate a default parameter. Here I have considered an user defined function to calculate the simple interest. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video link with your friends and family members. Gain the knowledge and rule the world. Happy learning.